Yes. Let's go. Yes. What's going on, family? What is up, guys? What is going on? It's your boy Abel, back with another one. Give me 1 sec. Let me make sure we got this on the correct screen. All right, there we go. What's going on, family? What's going on? It's your boy Abel, back here live on YouTube. Super excited to be here with every single one of y'all tonight. Family, if you guys can hear me, if you guys can see my screen, go ahead and drop some threes in the chat for your boy one time. Go ahead and drop some threes in the chat for me one time. Make sure that we are good to go, right? Because we are back. We are live. And it's super exciting to be back here with every single one of you guys. You know, it's super exciting to be right back on YouTube providing this live value. Obviously, last week we took the week off because I was doing the 5-day ProTrader Bootcamp, which was absolutely out of this world. The amount of information, guys, that was given on the bootcamp last week had me super excited for the growth that everybody that was a part of the bootcamp is going to experience. But it was an absolutely great time. But we did take the week off last week so that I can go ahead and just pretty much focus on the bootcamp, focus on structuring it the correct way. And even then, right, it was a phenomenal bootcamp. But I'm even doing day six of the bootcamp. I'm even giving, you know, everybody that participated in that bootcamp a completely extra day because I felt like I could still do better. Right, like the bootcamp family, if you were a part of the bootcamp, right, if you guys were a part of the bootcamp, what do you guys think about the bootcamp? Honestly speaking, please. Right, what do you guys think? Because even though we went far above and beyond, we provided massive value. That bootcamp, again, was probably one of the most in-depth bootcamps I've ever done personally. I still feel like there was a lot more that I could still talk on, right? But obviously, we only had 5 days, and we went for around 2 hours each day. But I still feel like there was still some pieces that I personally forgot to. I'm not gonna say forgot, but I didn't actually go more in depth on, and that's why I'm giving y'all a day number 6 this week, right? That's why I'm giving y'all a day number 6 because we had a lot of value. A lot of value was given, but there was some key parts that I want to really speak on a lot more, and that's why day number 6 is gonna happen, guys, on Thursday of this week. So again, if you guys were a part of the bootcamp, please make sure to continue checking your emails because I will be sending you guys an email. If not tonight, then definitely by tomorrow, just giving you guys the information on day number 6. And hopefully day number 6, guys, really does close it off for you guys and really takes things up a whole nother level. Right, like a whole nother level, because the bootcamp in itself was fire, but day number 6 again is going to be pretty much like an extension to day number 5, which was the putting it all together. But it's going to be more actual, real, practical work where It's probably not even going to be really on a PowerPoint. It's going to be me literally teaching you guys real time exactly my step-by-step process on how I actually approach these markets. And I feel like day number 6 is really going to be that wow. I mean, even though every single day that we've had, it was like a wow moment. Like every single day, right? Mindset day, habit creation day was next level. Right, next level. Shout out to Zach. What's going on? Shout out to you. I appreciate you for tuning in. Right, shout out to you. We got Stuart in the building as well. I appreciate both of you guys for being our newest subscribers. Welcome to the family. But day number 6, guys, is going to be absolutely crazy because each day that we spoke about on the boot camp was next level, right? Day number 1, all about mindset, habit creation, all about really understanding what it really takes from a mindset perspective was next level. Like day number 1 started, it really set the tone for how the week was going to go. And I'm pretty sure everybody that was a part of that boot camp can really attest that day number 1 was like some next level stuff that we went through some practices. We did some trainings on how to pretty much eliminating beliefs, and then also creating and developing, positive belief systems. Right, it was just next level. It was just absolutely next level, man. So I'm excited for day number 6, though. Right, day number 1 was lit. Mindset creation, absolutely a phenomenal. Risk management, day number 2 went next level with risk management. Really broke down exactly what it entails, what risk management is, why it's important, and why you guys need to focus on it tremendously. And then day number 3, honestly, was probably a game changer for a lot of people. Right, day number 3, guys, was absolutely next level. It was fundamental and sentimental analysis day, and I also gave away a cheat code, a cheat sheet. I feel like something, especially when it comes to sentimental analysis, there's actually a cheat out there, right? A cheat code out there that really helps you identify what the big boys are actually doing and how the big boys are actually positioning themselves. And we also broke that down as well, guys. And I know that in itself is, once you start implementing that, it'll give you a lot more insight on what's going on from a sentimental perspective. But again, day number 3 was absolutely next level. Fundamental sentimental analysis day, really teaching you guys how to read news, how to interpret it, and how to utilize that to create sentiment. And then day number 4, technical analysis. I really spoke about heavily on supply and demand, teaching you guys how to really trade these markets from a supply and demand standpoint, because that's what really dictates these markets. Like, supply and demand is really probably the most important technical form of analysis that you guys can utilize, because at the end of the day, that is what's really causing these markets to actually move, right? It's based on supply and demand and discounted and premium levels and all that important stuff. So that was absolutely next level. And then day number 5 was crazy. Day number 5 was really just putting it together. But again, day number 6 is pretty much going to be an extension to day number 5, and that in itself, everything that we spoke about on day number 5 is going to really just tie into what we're going to talk about for day number 6, guys, which is going to be on Thursday at the same exact time that we actually had the boot camp. Is going to be the same time for Thursday. So I hope everybody's excited for that. All right, but it's going to be next level. All right, let me go see who we got in the building today, family. I see we got Salson. What's going on? Welcome to the family. Everybody that's new, right? But Salson, what's going on? I appreciate you. We got Tony Gold in the building. We got G, my brother G Beard in the house. What's going on? Shout out to you, G. I appreciate you. Right, go ahead and drop your locations in the chat. We got my guy Christian from Chicago. We got the Chicago squad checking in. What's going on? Shout out to y'all. My guy Rob House in the building. What's going on, Rob? Good to see you as well. We got St. Louis in the building. All right, let's see who else. Snody Gang. Finally, the streams are back. We are 100% back, guys, on YouTube. Again, providing this value every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Shout out to John Dallas as well as our newest subscriber in the family. I appreciate you. Welcome to the family. Let's see who else we got here. We got Brother O in the house from Philly. What's going on, Brother O? Good to see you. We got Trinidad in the house. What's up, Warren? I know you was on the boot camp, and I know you probably got a lot of value because that boot camp was next level. Let's see. We got my guy Andrew in the building. 20 Pip Savage. I see you. We got Colombo, Sri Lanka in the house. Was also a part of the boot camp. Absolutely phenomenal to see you in the chat. All right, we got BTC Mommy in the building. LA, what's up? Shout out to you guys. We got Martha Douglas also part of the boot camp. Shout out to you. I appreciate you out there in Augusta, Georgia. Riverside, California. What is up? Baltimore, Maryland in the building. Let's see what we got here. More information in the library. I'm telling you, right? We got Cincinnati in the building. What's going on, TJ? Good to see you. Has some really good gems. I think some Q&A time would be fire. 100%. We're going to do some more Q&A time as well for day number 6, just to try to put it all together. All right, we got Sydney, Australia in the building. What is going on? Shout out to you guys out there in Sydney, Australia. Definitely appreciate every single one of y'all. Let's see, price can't touch the value. Opened my eyes to so much. Has some really good gems. I think some, yep. I'm detached myself from the money and attached myself to the trading plan. Seen my biggest day trading in 2.5 years. Let's go, Winston. Again, Winston was also a part of the boot camp. And again, it's just I was really teaching things from a more practical and a more logical perspective, and really teaching people how to treat trading like a business, right? Like inside of the boot camp, guys, I spoke about that a lot. Like really treating trading like a business. Because when you look at things from a business perspective, you really start to remove the emotional aspect of trading. Because in business, and any type of business that you want to create in life, guys, right? Because I know a lot of us on this call, pretty much almost all of us are probably either entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, right? And when it comes to entrepreneurship, you can't have no emotions, right? And I'm not even just talking about to trade. I'm talking about with any type of thing you want to launch in life, any type of business opportunity you want to go for. Emotions is really going to be your biggest downfall, right? So we really approach this entire boot camp really teaching things from a business perspective more than anything, right? But let's see what else we got here. Boot camp fire. The boot camp was very knowledgeable. I have a new outlook on the news events thanks to you. Let's go, Saucin. Amazing. I'm working on my trading habits. That believe trick, oh yeah, right? That believe trick at the end of day 1 was next level. Let's see, bro. That cheat code is nasty. Told you exactly what USD source was going to do before it happened. 100%. All right, let's see. Will day 6 be recorded? Of course it is, right? And this is the thing about everybody that participated with this boot camp, which I might do it for these next ones too, is that every single person that was on that call not only got the recording of each day, but they also got the exact PowerPoints that I used, right? So that's next level information, right? Like that in itself is, like those PowerPoints in itself are literally worth countless of money, right? Like it's crazy how powerful it is. Right, but let's see what else we got here in the building, guys. We got Avondale, Arizona. We got Brooklyn in the house. Shout out to my brother Drew. We got Jacksonville, North Carolina. Charleston in the building. Puerto Rico in the house. Shout out to all my Puerto Ricans in the building. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. We got Fort Knox, Kentucky. What is going on? Alabama in the house. We got the boy Skaggs in the building. What's going on, my brother? We got Jamaica, Trinidad, Tobago, Augusta, Georgia. What is up? My guy Ronnie Ruiz. What's good, bro? Good to see you. Phoenix, Arizona in the building. Yusuf from Phoenix. What's going on? Yusuf, New Jersey in the house. Let's see. Abel, we go back to the Vegas IML event. What's going on, Justin? Good to see you in the building. Definitely appreciate you tuning in. Jamaica in the house. British Columbia, baby, in the building. Let's see. Whoever missed out on the boot camp missed out on a ton of value. Oh, yeah. It was next level. It really is. All right. Now, the cool thing about this is, guys, right? If you guys missed out on this boot camp, this most recent boot camp, because honestly, there was a lot of people that I had to pretty much turn down because it was too late. You know, again, we had a time limit. I pretty much extended it as much as I could. But I did end up, pretty much rejecting a few people that tried to get in either Saturday or Sunday day or Sunday night. I pretty much had to tell them, like, yo, you're going to have to wait for the new one now, right, for the next boot camp. Now, the positive thing about this is, right, shout out to Justin. Appreciate you, most recent subscriber. What is going on? Shrey Yanch as well. Shout out to you, new recent subscriber. I appreciate y'all. Family, go ahead and drop some welcomes to our newest subscribers. But the cool thing about this is, guys, I already launched, right? Or I at least announced when the next boot camp will be. Right now, the next boot camp, guys, is also going to be pretty much tailored around how we structured this one because I feel like it's the best way to actually do it. But if you guys were not able to attend boot camp number 1 and you guys want to be a part of boot camp number 2, which is going to happen, let me give you guys the dates real quick. Let me see. Boot camp number 2. Let me see. When is boot camp number 2? Let's see what we got here. Yeah, so boot camp number 2, guys, is going to go down August 15th through August 19th. August 15th through August 19th. Okay, so if you want to be a part of that boot camp, if you want to also get crazy value, right, that I've provided, and make sure to go ahead and go to the description of this video. There's going to be a link or a form that you're going to have to fill. And just fill out that form. Fill out that form and then lock in your spot ASAP. I will be honest with you, right? This most recent one, I did it for $249 to be a part of, $249 one time. Again, everybody that was a part of it, I'm pretty sure can attest that it was worth way more than that. Like literally way more than that. This new one that we're doing, guys, the price did go up. I actually initially I was gonna put it up to almost damn near $400, but now I lowered it, right? So the price is gonna be pretty much very similar to what everybody else just did in the most recent one. But I am gonna be honest with y'all. Come next month, the price is going up. Okay, so I highly recommend you guys that are serious about your education, that are serious about learning how to trade, and if you really want to learn the foundational aspects of trading, because that's what we focused on, was creating the foundation, teaching you guys exactly what you need to know, what you need to learn. And if you want to learn that, then I highly recommend you to secure your spot ASAP, because again, price will go up at the end of this month. Okay, at the end of this month, the price will go up, and it will go up to $389. I'm telling you guys right now, okay? I'm literally telling you guys up front what the price is currently, and I'm telling you guys what the price will become. The price will literally be $100 more if you try to wait till the last minute, because then I have to accommodate obviously a lot more, and I plan on doing a lot more as well for each of these boot camps, you know, because that's really gonna be my focus, guys. Besides providing you guys with massive value here on YouTube, which again is also massive. You don't. I'm not going to say you don't need the boot camps, because the boot camp is going to give you a sense of structure, a sense of things that are going to really change the game for you. But, right, even though these YouTube streams are lit and super valuable, it's nothing like having an actual structured system like what we do with the boot camps. So yeah, you can continue just watching these obviously these YouTube videos. You know, it's completely free. There's no charge for these YouTube videos, so 100% continue to leverage these. But if you actually want to get some type of structure, then I highly recommend you to go ahead and invest into yourself, invest into your education, and really go ahead and take be a part of the boot camp. You know, so that's pretty much the only promotion I got for that, guys. So again, if you do want access to the next boot camp, link is in the description down below to go ahead and fill out the form. I will be sending out a lot of detailed information on it as well as the time gets closer, but please be aware the price will go up at the end of the week. I mean at the end of the month, I guarantee you. So lock it in now. Don't even waste time. Lock in your spot if you're serious about your education, if you're serious about growth, and I guarantee you, you will get massive value from the boot camp in itself. All right, guaranteed. All right, guaranteed. All right, so let's go ahead and see what else we got here in the building. We got Greensboro in the house. What's going on? We got Kenya in the building. Modi. What's going on, my brother Modi? Good to see you. All right, we got Salisbury, North Carolina in the house. Florida, Trinidad and Tobago. What is going on, family? I appreciate y'all. Let's see. I'm gonna pay $389 because it'll be worth it. Anyways, 1,000% it will. Right. Again, for you guys that have not seen, if you guys are not a part of my actual Telegram channel, highly recommend you guys to go ahead and also be a part of the actual channel as well, so you guys are updated on things like the boot camp. Anything that I'm pretty much doing on a daily basis, I update it through my channel as well. So I highly recommend you guys to be a part of that Telegram as well. Let's see, do you recommend attending the second boot camp after taking the first one? That's a great question, Ronnie. To be honest with you, I'm always, as I continue to grow as a trader, I'm always going to continue to improve on these boot camps, but for the most part, it's going to be very similar to what the one we just ran on, right? Because I feel like the boot camp that I just ran, there's definitely a lot of things that I'm actually going to add into it, which is why I'm giving you guys day 6, because there's still stuff that I could have added into it that's going to be a part of day 2, but for the most part, it's going to be very similar. You know, the structure is pretty much not going to change. Obviously, you know, I was giving you guys a lot of I was being very vulnerable with you guys in boot camp day number 1, which I'm probably not going to be in boot camp day number 2, because I was really telling you guys my entire story, the journey. Like, you guys pretty much know who Abel is now, right? Especially from how vulnerable I was with you guys on boot camp number 1. But I did that for a reason, right? I want to be as relatable as possible to everybody that's on the call, you know, because I don't want nobody to make an excuse as to why they can't do this, right? Because I went through some ish coming up in this game. I went through some stuff. Like, I put my relationship on the line. I put a lot of different things on the line to really make this work. And I just want to be an example of what's possible as long as you really don't give up at the end of the day. All right, so that's pretty much where we're at with that, guys. So, again, it's definitely up to you, Ronnie. You definitely will learn some more because, like I said, I'm always going to be teaching. I'm always going to be growing myself as a trader and as an educator, which I'll always continue to provide more in the bootcamp. But for the most part, the structure is going to be the same. Right, let's see what else we got here. We got Hollywood, Florida in the building. Guyana, what is up? The Bahamas. We got my guy, Big Bert, in the building. What's going on, Bert? Good to see you. Shout out to you in the building. We got Brother Joe in the house. Sacktown, what is up? What is up? Welcome to the family as well. Or my brother Joe, welcome, actually. Good to see you in the chats. Let's go ahead and see what we got here, guys. So take a quick look at the calendar for the week and see what we got going on for the rest of the week overall. It's been a very volatile week so far. Very interesting week so far, for sure. But let's see what we got going on for tomorrow, guys, on the schedule. So we do have for the euro, the EU economic forecast getting released. That in itself could potentially, obviously, cause some volatility in the markets, because that can create sentiment based off this release. But overall, guys, what I'm really going to be focused on for tomorrow is going to be at 10 a.m. the JOLTS job openings, the ISM services PMI as well. It's going to be very important. And then also, probably one of the most important ones for this week is going to be the FOMC meeting minutes. These are things that, especially as a Forex trader, guys, we have to be aware of, right? And that's one thing that I've been preaching to you guys here on YouTube, and why I really created a very, very in-depth day number 3 is really understanding the importance of fundamental analysis, and also the importance of sentiment, creating sentiment behind this data, because that's what's really most of the traders, the big-time traders and investors in the world are doing, right? They're positioning themselves based on off the data, right? They don't position themselves based off of, trend lines and levels of support. No, they make decisions based off the data, based off what they feel like is going to be the best case scenario for them, or what they should do to protect themselves as investors and as traders. And that's what we need to start doing as well. So, again, this is going to be probably the big one for tomorrow, guys, right? Really looking at the FOMC meeting minutes. Again, this is going to be pretty much going to give us an insight as to what Jerome Powell and his team over there, at the Federal Reserve, pretty much what they're going to be looking to do moving forward in terms of what their plans are, right? We all know that their plans for the most part has really been to try to combat inflation. That's been like the number one thing literally across the board with a lot of central banks overall. But definitely over here with their Fed, like their number one goal is to really try to combat inflation. Now, we do have CPI, and I want to bring this up so we're all aware of this, guys, right? But we do have CPI. Look at this, next week, July 13th. Right, July 13th, guys, we do have our next CPI reading. And CPI, again, is the Consumer Price Index, which measures inflation. Okay, so we do have that coming out next week. So depending on what they say tomorrow, right, or how they're going to be approaching it, could give us a little bit of a way to position ourselves way before the release. Now, the crazy thing is now, like, CPI is expected to even come out higher still, right? So inflation is still very much high. And based off the projections that are being flown around right now, like, they're expecting it to even still come out higher. Okay, so inflation is still here, is still strong. It's honestly expected to come out pretty much creating inflation hasn't been as high as it is now in what, 2 decades, 20, 30 years. But now with what it comes out next week, now we're talking about, again, like record high inflation's coming out very, very soon. Not super record high, but it's getting close to that point, right? Where now we're starting to touch, inflationary numbers that we haven't seen in 30 years, right? So that in itself, guys, we as Forex traders have to be able to understand. But that's definitely something that tomorrow, whatever they talk about tomorrow, can give us an insight on how they're going to pretty much react or try to play off of the inflation numbers that come out next week. So we have to be aware of these things, right? So that's definitely going to be something very, very interesting to see. Around 2 p.m., we should expect a lot of volatility in the markets because of these meeting minutes to get released. Now, again, I'm not the trader to sit here and try to watch any of these press conferences. I'll definitely, after the case, probably try to slim through this. But again, this is definitely for most traders, they really don't have the patience to read these type of reports and create sentiment off it. But I'm going to do my best to try to read and skim through it so I can give you guys, updated information on what this actually. You never know. Tomorrow's stream, right? Tomorrow, guys, again, I do go live again tomorrow. I might even go over it with you guys tomorrow so we can create sentiment tomorrow together on that. But that's going to be interesting to see how that comes out for sure. All right, so let's go into Thursday. Thursday, guys, we do have unemployment claims for the U.S. And then on Friday is pretty much going to be a very volatile day as well, with the unemployment rate, the non-farm employment change, and the average hourly earnings for the U.S. On top of that, we do have employment change, unemployment rate for the CAD as well. Overall, it's going to be a very, very interesting, probably volatile week. Now, let's go ahead and get right into, guys, what the market actually has done so far to pretty much start this week, right? Like, we've seen the dollar absolutely just take over. Like, look at this, guys. Like, we've been calling daddy dollar for a while now, right? We've been saying that the dollar was going to continue its strength, it was going to continue its dominance, and I still expected that, right? But if you watch my weekly outlook video that I actually created and I dropped for you guys on Saturday, I was expecting some type of at least a pullback, right? Like, I wanted to see the market at least give us some type of a correction, whether it's down to this demand zone down here, or I really wanted to see if we can come all the way down to this demand zone. But the dollar's dominance is just so strong right now, it's absolutely insane. right? The demand for the dollar just continues to increase over time. Obviously, is because now we're really on the brinks of seeing a quote unquote certified recession now, right? Because like if we go to the Atlanta Fed department over there, they actually are predicting, guys, negative growth, right? Negative GDP to come out. I believe the report actually, like the actual numbers, comes out on the 28th of this month. So it's closer near the end of this month, guys, when we actually get the real numbers, like the actual numbers on GDP, right, to really confirm a recession is actually here or not, which again, we all should be aware of the fact that we've been calling this for a while, that the recession has pretty much already been here. But now we actually get like the actual numbers near the end of the month. And that's why we're starting to see a lot of positioning happening right now, where the dollar is just starting to grow its dominance because of these factors, right? It's because of the rumors of what's potentially going to happen, right? Because once that report came out from the Atlanta Fed, like you could just see it in the market. You could see traders and investors starting to position themselves for that, and their way to fight inflation and their way to try to fight against this recession is literally just to pretty much pour into the dollar, right? The U.S. dollar has been absolutely dominant, and again, at this point I don't see it coming down, like, at all. Like, this thing is just absolutely on fire. And like I said at the beginning of the week, guys, like if you watched my video, I told you guys I'm still overall expecting this thing to continue. Right, I still believe, guys, that the Federal Reserve is still completely underplaying the severity of this recession that we're about to go through. Like, we're not talking about just 2 quarters of negative growth occurring. We're talking about, guys, the potential of 4, 5, 6, 7 quarters where the economy sees negative growth, right? And that in itself, guys, is going to cause a lot of strain. It's going to cause a lot of pain. It's going to cause a lot of fear. And although even some of us on this call are going to feel it and we're going to experience it, all of us on this call are also going to be aware of it, and we're also going to be, able to combat it as well through trading, right? Because now we're able to understand what's about to happen, so we're able to position ourselves and really go ahead and take advantage of these things, which is why I'm on here really trying to educate you guys on these things so that you guys are aware of it. Okay, so overall, the dollar's dominance really showed itself, and it could be obviously because of the rumors of at the end of the month, negative GDP, which means a recession is officially here, which again, we already been talking about it for a while now. We've been saying that we've been in a recession already for a minute, but now we'll get the official report of it actually showing that we are in a recession. Now, another thing about inflation as well, all right, because again, we have recessions that we're dealing with now, right? Obviously, talks about that. Also talk about, inflation. Like, again, inflation itself, guys, like, I personally, and I could be wrong, right? I'm just talking based off the data that I've been seeing, the information that I've been putting together. And I also think that even inflation is not slowing down anytime soon, right? Again, we do have CPI coming out next week, but like, guys, we're talking about inflation could really continue to go higher. Like, we're talking about inflation could really get to 9-10% inflation. It's actually very possible, especially because of like all the things that are pretty much happening all at one time right now. Like, we're seeing massive fear across the board. We're talking about massive uncertainty, massive doubt across the board right now, right? And not just with here in just the US. We're talking about global fear is currently occurring, right? And we're talking about inflation is soaring across the board as well. So we have to really be aware of these things, right? So do not let the news, do not even let Jerome Powell fool you, right? Because Jerome Powell and all these talking heads, these political figures, they're going to continue to try to downplay it because they can't just come out and say, yo, shit's about to hit the fan. They can't do that because that's going to cause complete chaos in the markets, and that's what they're trying to avoid. So they're still trying to beat around the bush, trying to bring some type of optimism so there isn't too much of a decline in the overall economics of the world. So just be mindful of that, right? Like, it's crazy because they have so much power and they know that. That's why they're pretty much beating around the bush. So we have to be aware of these things. So I think we're going to continue to see the dollar continue to increase in dominance. On the flip side, I believe even these indices, guys, are going to continue seeing a lot more downside as well, right? These indices like NAS 100, US 30, S&P 500, I'm still expecting a lot more downside overall. Now, is it possible for price to either drop from right here and continue, especially looking at the S&P 500? Yeah, it's possible for price to just drop from this level. But is it also possible for price to pull back up some before we see the drop? Of course. right? The market's going to do what it wants to do, right? But overall, I'm still expecting long-term bearishness, guys, for a lot of these indices as well, right? And I bring this up because I know a lot of traders, you know, they especially nowadays, right, where indices are becoming extremely popular to actually trade because of how volatile they are. But you got to be aware of these things, right? Like if you're going to be trading indices and you don't have no type of sense of what's happening from a fundamental standpoint, then you're playing yourself, right? If you're trying to trade these indices, guys, and you don't understand at least the basics of economics, the basics of how to play and react to these things, then you're only setting yourself up to really blow your account and lose a lot of money, right? So please start being educated on this stuff. Be educated on fundamentals, sentimental analysis, especially if you want to go ahead and trade, you know, these indices, which are extremely volatile, especially now because of everything that's happening. They're even more volatile now than ever. So you got to be aware of these things as well, guys. But overall, I'm still expecting a lot of dollar dominance, which is pretty much bringing everything down. Like every single thing that's traded against the dollar right now is getting destroyed. Everything, like everything, right? Even other safe haven, quote unquote, safe haven currencies, they're not even holding a chance, right? And we're going to talk about gold, because gold is something that gold is very interesting, right? Because of these things, right? You know, because gold is typically one of those safe haven currencies, right? But it's not even standing a chance against the dollar neither. Like even gold is getting destroyed across the board against the daddy dollar that we have here. And that just shows you guys the real demand for the dollar right now is through the roof, right? So again, these are things that we have to be aware of. But let's go ahead and really break this stuff down, guys, and really come up with a game plan on what we could really expect moving forward, right? So look at here at the dollar, guys. We are literally trading at pretty much multi-decade highs right now, right? Like last time we were this high was back in 2016, and we haven't even really been this high for the dollar, guys, in a while. So we're talking about, you know, demand for the dollar is pretty much at the highest level it's ever been, and it's because of just everything that we're experiencing. But I don't see this slowing down, right? Like if we really look at what happened in terms of price action, since literally the beginning of last year, 2021, like this thing just really started to fly. Now obviously this was really started to fly because of obviously everything that happened with COVID. You know, the amount of money that they printed was out of this world, and just because of all the chaos, the uncertainty and doubt that was really caused by COVID, it really fueled this thing to absolutely start flying. And I don't see it slowing down, right? I really don't. I don't see it slowing down either. I still expect a lot more momentum to the upside. You know, we actually did have a very strong monthly closure as well with this monthly order block that was created, and we're starting to see the follow through for sure. So overall, guys, I expect this thing to continue long term, continue to go to the upside. Now, does that mean we want to just jump into a buy right here, right now? Of course not. Right? Of course not, right? We don't want to just jump in randomly, right? We don't do that, right? We don't just jump in. Everything has to be based off logic, right? Especially from a technical perspective. It has to make sense technically from a logical perspective, guys. So where is the area that we could look at? Where can we potentially expect price to get to really give us some type of confidence in looking for some continuations? Well, we do have, looking back out to structure, right, looking back down to previous structure points, obviously that would probably be the best way to really do it, right? Like really probably the most smartest way to really do it, because again, as of right now, we really don't have too much to play off of. All we have is just this massive run that we've really seen come in. Now we're just in the middle of this little complex correction, and if we are able to really see price continue to come back down into this area down here, then that's where we could really start to look for more so opportunities to find a rebound in the market. The thing is, like, trying to expect this to go lower, especially based off the momentum that we experience, is going to be a little tough to do. So I'm really going to be very much on the sidelines a lot for this week. What did I take? I only took a couple opportunities this week. I took a gold sell earlier in the week, literally to start the week, which I got out way before the drop that actually happened. Right, but I actually took a gold sell and some USD JPY buys, which again, a bunch of them did get stopped out at break even, but I was able to catch one and close out pretty nicely. But overall, yeah, I mean, this thing has been been on fire, and it's very hard to really know exactly what is going to happen next, right? Obviously, best case scenarios, we see price pull back, create some type of structure, and then off of that structure, we're able to read it a little bit better. But from what we're seeing right now, market could literally do whatever it wants. It could fly from these levels right now, or we could again give us some more of a complex correction, and then create some type of structure off of that complex correction, and then from there we go ahead and decide on what we really want to do moving forward. So overall, dollar index, this thing has just been on fire. It's very, very hard to really predict what we can do next. Is, obvious thing to do, wait for price to create more structure, right? Like, wait for price to create more structure. That's like the most obvious thing that we could do now, right? As of right now, wait for price to create more structure. Now, does that mean you want to sell the dollar? I have no intentions on wanting to sell the dollar, like at all, like at all, right? Like I do not want to be caught trying to short this right now, right? Because of how much demand there is for the dollar, I have no intentions on wanting to short this. Okay, so if you're trying to short this now because you're like, oh man, this thing has to pull back. It has. Look at this run. It has to pull back. Man, look at the 50. Look how far it is from the 50-period moving average. It has to pull back. Price doesn't have to do a damn thing. Keep that in mind. Price doesn't have to do a damn thing that you want it to do, right? And especially going against this type of momentum, that's just not that's not a high probability opportunity. Remember, we trade off of probabilities here, family, right? Literally every single forex trader that you know that's profitable, it's not that they're a fortune teller, it's not that they're psychic, it's just they know how to identify high probability opportunities. And when you get better at identifying high probability opportunities, then you'll be able to really go ahead and take advantage of it. Okay, I hope that makes sense, guys, right? Is that making sense? Drop some threes in the chat real quick. Let's see. How can I join the inner circle? Lotus, you should. I see that you actually are a member of the YouTube channel. So if you want, if you're not in the actual Wealthy Visions or Wealthy Fam inner circle chat on Telegram, please let me know and I'll go ahead and get you added immediately. Send me a message on Instagram and I'll go ahead and get you added for sure. All right, so we can get that. Let's see. Negative 2.1% is the rumor. Yeah, that's crazy. Negative 2.1% GDP. Yeah, that's a recession for sure. I heard on July 27th it's coming out. Yeah, it's sometime near the end of the month for sure. It could be July 27th. You think recession will be announced on that day, being that pre-elections are at the end of the year? If we are in a recession, would that affect pre-elections? I mean, obviously it definitely probably will. But the thing about this, and this is probably a reason why the Fed is also being more passive on their approach with this, is because, again, there are pre-elections, right? And every single there's certain things that influence the Federal Reserve, right? And there's certain things that influences Jerome Powell and their decisions, right? And politics plays a huge role. As much as we don't want to admit it, as much as people try to, deny it, but politics plays a huge role on what the Federal Reserve actually does. So yeah, 100%, right? That's also going to really play a big part into how they continue to try to fight this. But at this point, I really don't. I can't see. We're not. Never mind. We're not even getting into that, right? One thing I don't do is get into religion and into politics on a public forum, because obviously those are touchy subjects. But just know, right? Politics influences tremendously what the Federal Reserve definitely does. All right, so let's see. How is Nucksec looking? Shout out to my guy Ghost Games. Appreciate you, bro. According to Biden, is necessary for the new liberal order. It's crazy, right? Let's see. I appreciate y'all. All right, so again, very hard to see what we're gonna do, guys. We're gonna need a lot more structure to really tell us what we could find or what we could expect. Obviously, especially looking at like now assets that we can actually trade, like EURUSD. Just waiting for a pullback, waiting for some type of structure pullback is gonna be probably the best bet. Seeing price come maybe back up into these areas of structure, and then seeing how price reacts off of those areas of structure will probably be the best bet, best opportunity. Right, so looking at this area right here, this entire range that I created is probably going to be the first real attempt that we could see price do something. But if you guys were, again, on the boot camp, I taught you guys all about really looking for high level or high probability supply and demand areas. So while price will probably end up coming up to this level of structure right here, if we actually do pull back, again, price doesn't have to, right? We'll probably start to create some type of bearish structure from right here to entice more people to get in, only for price to go ahead and spike higher, right up into this supply zone that we have up here, just so that they can go ahead and liquidate people, go ahead and liquidate everybody that was shorting from right here off of the obvious level. And then from there we could really see price go ahead and possibly give that move, much lower. So overall, if we do get back up to structure, we have to be aware of that. All right, yeah, price could react off of there, but more times than not, I really want to see price come up to these high probability areas, which is usually high confluence areas of supply and demand. So that's really where I would be looking to short if we're able to get up there. Again, I'm not sure if we are, but if we are able to get up to this 1.0422 level, that's where I would be very much interested in shorting. Now, again, things can change. Like, say we do come up to, say, this area right here, this obvious level of structure that everybody's probably going to look to short from. And then we do get to identify some type of, shift in structure, shift in momentum. Then, yeah, we might have to just adjust and take advantage of that instead, right? But for the most part, for right now, for EURUSD, if we do see some type of a pullback, I want to really see it come over here and spike up into this supply zone before we really go ahead and see a shift back to the downside, right? So, that's really where I'm standing at for the euro. Again, gotta just be on the sidelines for right now, really see what price wants to do. Maybe if we get some type of structure forming down here, where we get some type of pattern like this is really what a pattern I'll like to do. It's gonna be hard to really try to counter trend this, but maybe if we see some type of a shift of structure where we break below this level of structure right here, this low that we created, we initially see a very strong reaction back above it, right, showing that there is demand down below these levels. And if we have a sign of strength of demand, then we might be able to just catch a little pullback move. But again, just keep in mind that is super risky because of how much momentum we actually had to get us down here. But that is an opportunity that you might be able to take advantage of if you're a little bit more experienced. That's what I would advise you guys to probably keep your eyes on. Maybe if we do see, again, a level of structure created right here, we see a spike below this level of structure, this level of support, and we see demand really pick back up, then that can be an opportunity to go ahead and counter trend this, back up to the upside, right? So that's an opportunity that's possible for this one. Again, I'm pretty much going to be on the sidelines more than anything, seeing what price really ends up doing. If I do see something that I like, I'm trying to catch a pullback, I might risk 1% on it. I might risk 1% on it, see what happens. But that's pretty much where we're at for EURUSD, guys. Again, it's been a very interesting day so far. This thing just absolutely fell off the face of the earth. Right now, let's go ahead and take a look at, where's my gold at? Let's go ahead and add it back up here. Right, let's go ahead and take a look at gold. Obviously, I know gold is definitely a fan favorite, just like it is for me as well. Right now, gold is very interesting, guys, because this thing, again, just literally really fell off the face of the earth, right? Especially because of the dominance that it has against the dollar. This just shows you guys how dominant the dollar really is right now, right? Where even assets like gold, which historically do phenomenal during times like this that we're experiencing right now, where there's so much chaos in the world. We're talking about dealing with inflation, raising interest rates. Like, typically gold usually benefits from stuff like that. But clearly right now, even with gold, it's just the demand is not there, at least against the dollar, right? Like, it might be there against, say, the euro. Like, if we look at XAU against the euro, it might be here, but at least here for the euro, it's not looking like it's too bad off, right? Like, for the euro, there's still an opportunity for this to really go ahead and continue going higher, right? Again, gold against the euro, but gold against the dollar is just not looking. It's not looking like it really wants to play fair, right? Like, the dollar is just so strong. So what can we do now? What can we expect now for gold, right? Are we going to expect more downside for gold, or are we getting to a point where we could possibly really find a low for gold? Because I had said this earlier, and I'm still sticking with it, guys, but I truly believe by the end of this year, gold will be probably one of the best performing assets. If we're being honest, like, gold has been probably one of the best performing assets this year because every other asset is getting destroyed, right? Whether you're talking about crypto, whether you're talking about stocks, whether you're talking about any of those type of assets, they've been getting destroyed all year long. But gold in itself, like, gold, I believe, is still up around maybe 1 or 2% for the year. So that in itself is still positive. So it's doing its job as a safe haven, where it's pretty much is staying stable overall. All right, where right now it's pretty much, we might be now at just under 1% for the year, but still it's doing its job as a safe haven, right? It's remaining stable during times of chaos, right? It's not fluctuating, or it's not losing too much value during these uncertain times. So it's doing its job, but it's not performing as well as typically we would exceed gold will typically perform during times like this, right? So I really don't know what gold could do next, right? We can obviously, now we're testing an area of structure. Yeah, price can possibly rebound off of this 1770 level, 1760 level, and then go ahead and find its legs and start pushing up. Or, you know, you never know, right? Gold could even continue, right? Like it's one of those things where you really just don't know with gold. You know, we do have this area of inefficiency down here as well that, you know, gold can even really try to target or go ahead and close that gap. Like there's so many different opportunities here. But let's really talk about it from like a fundamental standpoint, right? Like the U.S. has just, and not even just the U.S., but NATO as a whole, right? Pretty much the U.S., which obviously is in NATO, but a lot of these NATO countries have also just banned, you know, the import of gold from Russia, right? Where, you know, gold was, I believe it was like Russia's, what, I think it made up like third of Russian exports was of gold, right? So right now, U.S. and NATO, like they're not even buying up any Russian gold right now. Now, clearly, that's also going to be taking away or eliminating the demand for gold because of these sanctions. Now, obviously, that's going to make it easier for a lot of other countries and a lot of other nations that are not in NATO to possibly get some gold at a very cheap price, which is pretty much what happened with oil when they said that, when they actually announced the sanctions on oil, right? U.S. and all of NATO. NATO, they pretty much stopped buying oil, but guess what happened? You know, Iran came in, and Iran and India, like they started buying, or not Iran, but India started buying oil by the boatload, right? They started buying all the oil that nobody else wanted to buy because now Russia was selling it to them for super cheap. So that can also be something that really happens now, right? Where, yeah, NATO and the U.S. is not buying no gold, but guess what? There's going to be other countries and other economies that will gladly do it, especially if they feel they're doing it at a discount. But that in itself could possibly really go ahead and influence gold as well, right? The price of gold and what could really happen next. So there's so many different factors right now, right, that are really causing gold, and not just gold, but a lot of these assets, guys, to really just react, for one, very volatile, but, you know, in ways that is very hard to predict. Okay. Let's see let me check with these comments. I think other countries may eventually be forced to strengthen their currency to combat the dollar rising in order to service the dollar debt. 100%, I agree. Since most nations have dollar-denominated debts, a stronger dollar means a higher debt to repay. Yeah, you're 100% right with that, right? Now, let me go ahead and just break that down in more simple terms for everybody, right? Exactly what Loveline said is 100% true, right? Because obviously our dollar increasing in value is going to make the cost of what a lot of these other countries are spending to just pretty much service their economies is also going up, right? So now, like, let's just use an example, right? Say I'm a different country that's obviously, you know, wanting to buy a certain commodity. Like again, I'm just using an example, right? Let's say I wanted to go ahead and buy wheat, right, for my country or whatever the case may be, right? Now, because the dollar's value has increased against my dollar or my currency's value, right now it's going to cost more for me to go ahead and actually purchase these commodities, which is also going to pretty much lead to not just me being affected, but the economy as a whole. So yeah, 100%, I agree with you, right? That's definitely going to cause a lot of other economies to really have to do something to strengthen their currency to try to combat, you know, this rising dollar, right? Because, you know, that's something that is really going to affect, especially a lot of these up and coming economies, right, that are really not as strong, not as booming. That's going to affect them tremendously, right? So they're going to have to try to do something to their currency to try to value it in a different way. And again, if we are aware of these things and if we are understanding of what could happen to those economies and how they're going to pretty much value their currencies or increase the value of it, we can also take advantage of it, right? I feel like that's the best thing, at least for me, that I really love about being a Forex trader, and not just a Forex trader, but an educated Forex trader, is that I'm really aware of these things, right? I'm really aware of what's going on, and I'm able to position myself in a way to take advantage of this chaos, right? Obviously, because we trade on margin and we trade on using leverage, your precision has to be there, right? Because you don't want to take positions that you're just going to be in massive drawdown on. You know, it's completely different than just investing, but we still have an advantage, right? As long as we're educated, right? As long as we're educated on what's happening, we can position ourselves in a way to really take advantage of it. But overall, guys, gold could literally bounce off of this level right here if it really wanted to, right? Do we have enough data to really confirm that? Not just yet, right? Not just yet. I mean, maybe if we start to really identify structure, really starting to change momentum, like a spike below this level of structure down here, right? And then a strong rebound could show sign of strength for the bulls to come in, could show really that demand is starting to pick up for gold again, at least down at these levels, because now we're talking about gold being at around 1760. You know, certain big time traders and certain big time investors might be looking at this area down here as gold being cheap, right? And if we're able to identify that we're at discounted price points right now, then we'll be able to also, especially when we look at it from a technical standpoint, we'll be able to position ourselves. But again, you know, you just really don't know what's going to happen just now, right? Again, I'm never going to be that trader that comes on here and says, oh yeah, I know exactly what's going to happen. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, right? I trade off of probabilities at the end of the day. I trade based off the logic, right? That is given to me, and then I go ahead and take advantage of it like that. Okay? Exactly. Let's see what else we got here. Member for 2 months. Bootcamp results are guaranteed in boom, boom, in short term and long term. I appreciate that. Look at that. We got a wealthy fan member that's been on for 2 months. I appreciate you. Right. Shout out to Alonzo as well. Welcome to the wealthy fam. I appreciate you. Anybody that is a member of the channel here on YouTube, please send me a message if you guys are not in our Telegram just yet. We do have an actual Telegram, a private Telegram where it's not just a channel, it's an actual chat that we're able to communicate back and forth on. So if you guys are a part of the actual membership, definitely go ahead and send me a message on Instagram. My Instagram is right below my beautiful face, so I can go ahead and get you added into that chat. For family, go ahead and drop some welcomes to Alonzo. Everybody that's a part of the family, everybody that's been showing love, go ahead and show him some love and welcome him into the family the right way. You know, because we're all about love here at the end of the day. All right, so overall, guys, very interesting times for gold. If we can see structure really show us something for gold, then we might be able to really take a opportunity to go ahead and buy it up, because again, gold might be being looked at as being cheap at these price points, right? It might be looked at as being discounted, so that could be an opportunity for sure for us to really get involved in for gold. All right, let's go ahead and see what else we got here, guys. I'm gonna take a look at UJ. UJ is definitely one of my favorite assets or pairs to trade, but it's very interesting to see what we're gonna do here for UJ as well. All right, let's see what else we got here. What is your new Telegram group? How can I join? Very simple, G. You got to just be a member of the actual a member of this actual community here on YouTube. All right, so if you go right next to the subscribe button, there should be a join button, and once you actually join one of those memberships, then you go ahead and just let me know, and then I'll go ahead and get you added into that private chat. But other than that, the only Telegram I do have is just our public channel that a lot of you guys are already in. But if you're not in the public channel, the free public channel, you know, the Nightbot is always sending the link out for that Instagram, so please go ahead and get in that as well. Let's see, how can I join for analysis class learning? That's a great question, right? So the next time, you can either continue to watch it on these live streams, but my next actual class, my next 5-day boot camp is going to happen in August 15th through the 19th. So if you want to be a part of that, right now it's going to be the cheapest price that it is to actually get in. You just simply go in the description down below and fill out the form. The first link in the description is going to be for a form that you have to fill out, and just fill that out, right? Fill that out, and then I'll get back to you with a lot of information once that's filled out. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Can we pay fee for learning or not yet? Through the boot camp will be the right way. Okay. Let's see. Add me, sir. Yeah, I got you, Alonzo. Send me a message, Alonzo, on Instagram, and I'll send you the link through Telegram for sure. Let's see. Look at Noxsec. Shout out to that boy Skaggs. Wants me to look at Noxsec, but since he actually super chatted, I'm gonna have no choice but to do it. All right. Anybody that supports and sponsors the stream, you guys get full access to ask anything on anything they're trading, right? So let's see what we got here for Noxsec, right? Which again, this is literally just an inside joke, by the way, just because of how it sounds. But I'll take a look at Noxsec, see what we got going on here. All right, so overall, guys, looking at this thing from a daily perspective, all right, all for ghost games here, right? I mean, this thing for the most part, guys, has been genuinely, at least for now, has been genuinely going to the downside overall. You know, we've been seeing a lot of bearishness really come in. I mean, recently, for the past maybe 10 years, though, we haven't really been seeing nothing crazy. It's been going real sideways, right? But what do I think can actually happen for Noxsec now, right? I mean, we did see price come up into this area of supply up here. There is an opportunity for price to give us some type of a little bit of a correction, but I wouldn't be surprised if we actually seen price even come back up higher first before we seen more of a move back down. That will be my prediction for Noxsec. Okay, Noxsec. All right, yeah, that's my prediction for for this specific currency pair. Now, keep in mind, this is like a super exotic, right? I'm pretty sure like the spread for NUXEC is probably like through the roof, probably like 50 pips or something. The spread has got to be massive for some type of pair like this, right? But that would be my guess, right? We could see some more of a short-term push down, maybe to test this order block down here. But then I really want to see price come a little bit higher and possibly come up into these areas up here, right? Test around that 1.07, right? So that's where I'm at with NUXEC, right? Yeah, that is hilarious, by the way. All right, let's go ahead and go back to UJ now and be serious, right? So what can we expect now for UJ, right? So UJ has actually been very, very interesting, guys, over the past week, right? Shout out to my guy G. I appreciate you, bro. Welcome to the Wealthy Fam, right? Helmer, shout out to you as well for being our most recent subscriber. I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing to the family. All right, I appreciate y'all so much. G, you already know. Send me a message. I got you, my brother. I'll go ahead and get you added into that private chat for sure. Which, again, anybody that's in that private chat, you guys know how valuable that is, especially with not just me talking in there, but that boy Skaggs being there heavy too, providing massive, massive value for a lot of the people. And I appreciate him for being in there, just providing value always. All right, but let's go ahead and see what we got here, guys. So UJ is very interesting. For the most part, we pretty much has been going sideways for the past 2 weeks. Just really been range bound. Obviously, we all know and been aware, right, that I mean, the dollar's dominance against the yen has been absolutely through the roof, but it does look like signs of slowing down and signs of a shift in momentum for right now could possibly really be coming. I mean, let's look at this thing from the weekly perspective, right? Look at this thing from the weekly perspective, right? We had literally, again, even though Wix itself, I don't really look at Wix too much as what most people do, like, oh man, this thing has to turn around. It doesn't have to do anything, right? And I want y'all to really understand that price doesn't have to do a damn thing. But looking at what's happening, there is starting to see like where we could see maybe a short-term pullback before we continue to go higher. Now, obviously, the Japanese yen has been getting destroyed because of their stance on monetary policy over there, on what their central banks are doing. They're being very passive. They're acting like they don't really care about inflation. But obviously, they're going to have to change course eventually because their currency has been completely getting destroyed against the dollar. So I would not be surprised, guys, if eventually, you know, the yen finally does start to really gain a lot of strength, and we do start to experience more downside here for UJ, for pound yen, a lot of these yen pairs, because it's to a point now where they're going to have no choice but to try to combat, right? Because again, their currency has been completely devalued, like across the board. It has been completely devalued overall, so they're going to have to do something, right? So there is a chance for them to really go ahead and, or there's going to be an opportunity for them to really go ahead and really, you know, bring some strength to their currency, and that's obviously going to cause, you know, this to probably go ahead and go back to the downside. But what do I think can happen for now opportunity for UJ? Well, very simple. What has price been doing? All right, we have been creating these highs. We just created a lower high. So I think we could really see more downside for UJ coming up into this week. Like, I really could see that. Even though the dollar's dominance has been so strong, I really still think that we can experience, guys, some more downside for UJ, right? I would not be surprised if we actually did see price come and clear out this low down here, right? Maybe even come down and test this low as well, right? Possibly even clearing this low, right? And then really coming down into this area of structure right down in here. All right, this is where I would be interested in really looking for some more long opportunities for UJ, right? If we're able to go ahead and clear these lows, clear these areas of liquidity, come down into here, that's where I would really be interested in going ahead and buying, you know, UJ once again. And if we really look at this thing from more of a supply and demand perspective, like, I mean, just look at this candle right here that we had. All right, we had, obviously, this looks like a news candle. This looks like something that was caused by news, but, you know, the demand for the dollar really picked up down in this area, like really picked up down in this area, and that's what really caused us to go from this lower low situation all the way up to this higher high. So with that said, like I mentioned to you guys on the boot camp, right, when we have evidence of supply and demand, right, areas of supply and demand really showing strength, then it's an opportunity for us to also go ahead and take advantage of that. Because if demand picked up in price for this, you know, at least for UJ, right, if the demand picked up around this area in the past, then almost by default, especially if the data is still correct and we're still, you know, have the right sentiment, by default we should also expect a similar reaction in demand. because a lot of these orders that were filled down here that caused price to really shoot up, there's still going to be a bunch of orders that were probably unfilled that could possibly get filled on the next time we come down here. So if UJ does come down to around this 133 level, 133.7, 133.5, if it does, again, I'm not sure if it will, but if it does, I'm all day going to be looking for some long-term opportunities to go ahead and continue buying UJ for sure down at these areas, right? So that's pretty much where I'm looking at for UJ. Again, we do have opportunity for price to continue shorting. If now we're looking for more of an opportunity we could take advantage of tonight, probably, right? Then for me, I would very, very much be interested in seeing if price can come back up into this area up here, into this area of supply, and then going ahead and shorting to the downside, right? Like something like this is what I'll be looking at going into tonight, guys. See if we take advantage of for UJ. All right, something like this will be absolutely lit, right? So if we're able to see price pull back up during the middle of London session, you know, and then hopefully by New York session or something like that, or even sooner, we come up into this level right here, 135,600, then I'll definitely be very, very comfortable with risking 2%, you know, targeting down to these lows over here. And I mean, looking at this is a 1 to 5.41 risk to reward. So we're talking about risking 2% to go for 10% gains. You guys know I'm very big on risk to reward, so I would take that all day long. All day long, I'll take advantage of that 100%. And so this is an opportunity, guys, we can look at from more of a now perspective for UJ, right? Shout out to Mike Goda. What's going on, Mike Goda? Welcome to the Wealthy Fam. I appreciate you. Definitely go ahead and send me a message so we can get you added into that Telegram. Definitely appreciate you. If you also want anything analyzed, let me know, and I got you for sure. All right, let's see. Now that Nucksack is taken care of, let's see some SHIB analysis. Shout out to the Ghost Games. I appreciate you, my brother, for dropping that big $5 on the channel. Definitely means a lot to me. So yeah, you know, anybody that supports the stream family, no matter what, you know, I definitely go ahead and take a look at anything you want me to look at. It doesn't matter if it's SHIB, it doesn't matter if it's Nucksack, it doesn't matter if it's soybeans, right? If it's corn, all right, I'm gonna take a look at it just because you simply showed love. Right now, let's take a look at SHIB, right? And we're talking about, you know, me analyzing SHIB is coming from somebody that at one point was legit a millionaire off of SHIB, right? I know you remember that, Keith, where, you know, this is crazy story, right? But that guy Ghost Games in the chat, he became legit almost a millionaire off of SHIB, because he ended up getting involved into SHIB like literally down here way before it became hype, way before anybody was talking about it, right? In fact, when he actually told me in my little private chat that I got between, you know, me, him, and a couple other people, especially, you know, most of my mods, like when he said he was getting into SHIB, I'm gonna be honest, we was laughing at him. Like I was laughing at him. Like, bro, what the hell you getting into SHIB for, bro? Another shitcoin? Are you crazy? But he actually had a little logical reason behind it. You know, he said because Elon Musk bought a SHIB dog or something like that. I forgot what the reason was, right? So he got in like down here, right? Down here. Now, guys, you got to understand the amount of returns that he had, right? He got down here and rode this thing all the way up for here for almost 1,000%. It went up 1,300%. 1,300%. 1,300%. So while I was laughing at him, while Skaggs was laughing at him, he literally turned into a multiple six-figure investor, almost a 7-figure investor off of SHIB, which is kind of crazy because we were laughing at his ass, right? But that was good times, right? That was good times, right? But overall, what do we think can happen next? I mean, obviously, right now, I'm not big on any of these cryptos, right? Literally. Simply because, again, the state of the markets, you know, risk off is where we're currently in right now. Risk off sentiment states, right, that assets like the stock market, crypto market are going to continue to get destroyed. So I still see potentially more downside here even for SHIB, right? So now we're talking about areas that where this boy Keith really got in well before the, you know, it became a hype thing, right? Where everybody went from Dogecoin trying to buy to SHIB coin, right? Like that was a thing, right? Everybody went from Dogecoin this, Dogecoin that to, oh no, SHIB, right? So we're talking about now getting back into those potential levels. Now, will SHIB rebound eventually during the bull run? I think there's a chance, right? Because it does have a very strong community, right? A big component, guys, of a strong cryptocurrency is also made up of its community behind it. Right, like literally, right, like a community behind it is extremely important, and SHIB does have a massive community behind it. So even down at these price points, there is a really high, a very low risk, high reward type of opportunity. Because if, again, I'm not saying price will, but if price ever got back up to this highs, see, now we're talking about, guys, now we're talking about 1,300% again. 1,300%, like, depending on how much money you start with, like, that's life-changing income. Like, for real. Let's see, worth 1.3 million at one point. That's crazy. Like, you literally went from that to 1.3 M's. Like, that's insane, right? But overall, like I said, I'm expecting more downside, guys, for a lot of these cryptos. You know, it just doesn't make, logically, it doesn't make sense for these things to boom just yet. Obviously, all these cryptos do run off of a cycle, Bitcoin's halving cycle, and it's not even time to buy Bitcoin just yet. I believe we're going to be able to really start buying Bitcoin probably next year. Sometime near the end of next year is probably where we should finally find that low for Bitcoin. So any of these cryptos, I'm just not a fan of these cryptos just yet, right? There's just too much, right? High inflation, interest rates going up. That is not really that's not a period in time where people are actually going to be investing, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, it really doesn't make sense, right, to be invested in these riskier assets when we see interest rates continue to increase, when we see inflation still going through the roof. It just doesn't make no sense to actually get invested. So I'm still expecting more downside for sure, you know, for assets like SHIB, for Bitcoin, Ethereum, any of these cryptocurrencies that are considered riskier plays. I'm still expecting more downside for sure. All right, so that's just my outlook for sure on that. Let's see what else we got here. $5 a month. Yeah, Tori, every single membership is monthly, right? It is monthly on YouTube, and that pretty much gives you access to a nice little color change in the chat. Gives you access to some stickers. It gives you access to some little perks, and it also gives you access to a private chat with me, right? Me and my top traders. All right, so that's where we're at for SHIB. Overall, does look pretty juicy. All right, now again, guys, keep in mind, right? Anything that I'll probably be looking at tonight will probably be this UJ. Will probably be something I'm really gonna be focusing on going into tonight. If we are able to get a pullback, then I would really like to see price go ahead and retest back down to these lows. All right, so that's probably gonna be the one opportunity so far I'm gonna be looking at. Let's go take a look at GJ, see what GJ's got going on. Now again, GJ itself, I'm still very much so. Excuse me, I still very much would love to see GJ. I'm not sure if it's gonna happen, right? But I had a prediction with you guys for a while, right? That Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but GJ will eventually reach. I don't know about that 200 level, but I think that GJ, guys, can realistically reach around this 160 or 175 level. Like, that's really been the target that I've been really predicting for a while, right? And I think that is still very much possible for that to actually occur. It's just right now, again, the yen is starting to gain some strength for whatever reason. And yeah, you know, it could just be times for us to really, you know, look for some opportunities eventually to get long. But is it going to happen anytime soon now? I'm not sure, right? I'm really not sure as to when Bitcoin or when GJ is probably going to go. You know, we could possibly see price come right back down to this demand zone right here, right around 160s, right? And maybe off of this 160s, we do start to see a sign of strength to the upside, right? Where we start to see a shift in momentum. If this 160 area doesn't hold, though, this one demand zone doesn't hold, then we're probably going to see price come down to around the 158, 159 level. And then from that 158, 159 level is probably going to be another opportunity to really go ahead and see more upside for sure for GJ. But overall, I still personally believe that pound yen could see some more upside. Now, the only thing we have to understand, guys, this is something also that I just read on today. Like, there's a lot happening over there in the UK right now. Like there's the government over there in the UK right now, guys, is like absolutely collapsing. Like, at one point today, like, there was so many high political figures over there in the UK that literally resigned, right? So now we're talking about a lot in terms of allow this domain. Come on. Right, there's a lot occurring right now, guys, over there in the UK that's causing a lot of fear and uncertainty for that, you know, for that market over there. So that's something we have to be aware of. Let's see if I can actually bring it up. Right, because I was actually reading this article earlier that was pretty much really breaking it down. All right, but there's a lot happening right now over there in the, like, currently right now as we speak, there's a lot happening, and that's probably causing, you know, a lot of fear, especially over there as well. Right, where again, you know, the Prime Minister Boris Johnson, like, he's close to getting voted out. Like, he's close to losing his job. So these are things that will definitely affect these markets 100%. When you have somebody like Boris Johnson, who's such a high political figure over there, probably one of the most highest people over there in the UK, like when there's talks about him getting kicked out, like that's going to devalue the economy as a whole, but that's also not going to give no confidence in the currency neither. So that could also be a reason why we're starting to see a lot of pound weakness really come in across the board, right? It's because of everything that's happening over there in the UK right now. Like we're talking about, again, high political figures, like people that hold high positions over there in government are literally resigning left and right currently right now as we speaking. That is not going to bring no confidence. Like that's not going to bring no confidence for you as an investor or a trader. So that's going to really possibly really see, a lot of selling pressure across the board for assets and for currency as well. So that's just something we have to be keeping in mind of, right? And that's why, again, being aware of fundamental analysis and just being up to date with these things is important, because when things like this occur, where we see massive sell-offs, like, yeah, from a technical perspective, you could have expected it. I mean, if we really look at this right here, guys, GJ, like price literally sold off from this massive area of supply. Like this was a perfect trading opportunity, right? Like, again, if you were on the boot camp, like this is the stuff that I taught you guys on the boot camp, like identifying these areas of supply and demand, right, where we had clearly a massive influx in supply, which pushed price down. Once price went back up there, right, all the orders that were not filled, right, they will most likely get filled. Just like it happened here, price came back up, more orders mostly got filled, and then we seen an absolute sell-off once again, right? So these are things that we need to be aware of, right? But this also probably played in, and this supply zone lined up perfectly with, again, all that chaos and all that tension that's happening over there in the UK. So it was like a mixture of a bunch of things, which is why we've seen such a massive sell-off. Like this is like 300 pips that dropped. Like I'm actually kind of upset I didn't take advantage of myself. That's 350 pips overnight. Like literally overnight. It started at London session. Like literally at London session. So less than 24 hours ago, you could have caught this by simply just playing it from a technical perspective, just simple supply and demand zone. But if you also incorporate that with what's happening, all the tension that's happening in the government over there in the UK, this was an obvious move, right? It was a super obvious move that just looked so good. I'm literally mad that I did not see it and I did not take advantage of it myself, right? But overall, it happens. But again, because of all this tension that's over there, though, I would not be surprised if we did see a little bit more downside for the pound, right? So overall, for me, I'm really going to be more so on the sidelines for pound yen, unless we actually get down into this area here around the 161 level. Once we do get to that 161 level, I'm going to be very mindful of what price action does down here. And if we are able to see some bullish price action, like a break of structure, a break in momentum, I mean, even if we start seeing some type of divergence, with price and some type of a momentum or a volume-based indicator, just little things like that, guys, will give us clues on if it's time for us to jump in. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. As of right now, I think we still have more downside. I'm really looking for that 161 level to get hit. And then from there, we go ahead and obviously break down and start really analyzing what price is doing from those smaller perspectives. So that's pretty much where I'm at for GJ going into tonight, and really just being very, very patient, because we already seen a massive sell-off, right? Like it's a little tougher to trade, guys, after we already seen a massive move occur, right? Because now two things could be happening, right? Price can either just be, rebuilding up for the next continuation downside, or it could also be building up for more, so getting ready for the actual reversal itself to go ahead and close a lot of this imbalance and all this inefficiency that was left behind. Two things that could really happen. So that's why it's very important just to, when these type of moves occur, that we're more patient than anything, and we're just waiting for price to tell us exactly what it really wants to do. All right. Shout out to the 20 Pip Savage. I appreciate you as well, my brother, for dropping that big 5 on the chat. All right. Thank you so much for that, my bro. I appreciate you so much. Your best and worst entries last week, please teach. Please teach. That's a great question, by the way, right? It's a great statement. Your best and worst entries last week, please teach, right? So let me actually go back and see what we got here. Let me see some trades that I took last week and see what we got here, right? So I ended up taking a bunch of I took a few trades last week, and I took a few losses as well. right? And I'll show you guys the AUD/USD because I ended up taking a sell on AUD/USD last week. I see, where was it at? 0.688, 0.688, right? So last week I ended up catching this sell-off right here on AUD/USD, right, which was actually pretty nice. Let's see, it was actually this one right here, right? It wasn't this because this was recent, but it was like this sell-off right here that I was actually able to catch last week. Very simple. Again, like this move it wasn't complex whatsoever, guys. Like, if you guys really been seeing how I trade very simple, right? Price action, market structure, supply and demand levels. Like, that's all I trade. And trading doesn't need to be complex. Like, don't try to be the person that's trying to learn the most complex strategy just to try to say that it's going to change the game. No, the most simplest strategies is usually the best ones to learn. So very simple. What did I see here with price, right? We'll go to the lower time frames, right? Very simple. We seen price go ahead and shift downside. We broke structure. I'm already expecting more bearishness to come in because we already been extremely bearish this pair. Obviously understanding sentiment as well, plays a real big part. I've been risk off sentiment for a while, which means, anything that's like a riskier asset is usually going to lose value. So things like stocks, cryptos are going to lose value during risk off sentiment. But even currencies like the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar, the Great Britain pound, right, those high yielding assets are also usually going to lose value during risk off sentiment. So I was expecting the Australian dollar just to continue to sell off. So I ended up catching an entry right around these levels up here, right? And I pretty much caught this sell. Now, why did I get an entry up there? I actually had like 2-3 entries on this, but very simple. We seen price come up to this level right here, right? Area of structure, flip zone, where we seen price really pick up a lot of momentum, spike up to the highs, broke structure, but completely got erased. So at that point, I'm expecting more downside. So we got the entry, and this thing is absolutely rolled over. Right, very simple, very simple trade. Again, that was one of. It's obviously going to be hard for you guys to see, right? But you guys could. Yes, it's going to be impossible for you guys to see. But that's one of my entries that I took last week. AUD/USD was probably one of my good ones. I did take a L on USD/JPY last week, right? Trying to buy it. I took a pretty fat L on this one. I lost in terms of pip wise. I think I lost maybe like 40 pips on it, but dollar amount wise, I got absolutely destroyed because I had 5 standards on that. So you guys could do the math. 5 standards, 40 pip loss. Yeah, you do the math on that. Have fun with that. But I ended up buying it at around 135.200, 135.2, 135.2. What's the date on this? July 1st. So 135.2. My stop was at, or I got stopped out at 134.8. Right, so my entry was right here, and the actual, like, it actually went in the direction I wanted to. It's just my stop got smacked before it actually, like, did its thing, right? So my entry was right around here. I'm going to make this line much thicker, right? The big boy, the black line right here, the big thick line, that's where pretty much my entry was around that area, right? The 135.2. My stop loss was right down here. I'm going to make this one a red color so you guys could see it. Right, my stop loss was down here at these lows, and I really just wanted to play off of this order block, right? Like, I wanted to see momentum really just pick up off of this order block right here. We did have a very strong bullish candle that came into play, and I wanted to play off of that. That's why I played off of the reaction off the order block, but price didn't do that. Ended up coming back down lower, and again, my stop was probably way too tight, and so I ended up taking an L on that one. But it is what it is. Like I said, I really don't stress about the L's, but I'll say that was probably my worst trade of last week, right? So my best one was probably that AU, which absolutely slept. My worst one was this UJ, and it was probably more so my fault, because if you guys see, price absolutely actually increased. Like, price did go up, right? It went up tremendously. It's just I got stopped out, and I think it's not that I think, it's because I know I just put my stop way too tight, and I just didn't let the market actually have enough breathing room, because I wanted to see a very strong reaction off of these lows down here, and price just didn't give it to me, right? So that's pretty much, my my setups that I dealt with, pretty much is going into into last week, or 2 of the different ones that I had for last week, right? Just being transparent with you guys. Like I said, I like being very transparent, just really showing you guys pretty much what I've been going through and what I've been pretty much dealing with, or what I deal with when it comes to trading. Right now, just being transparent once again with you guys. I've been talking to you guys about these funding challenges as well. So I'll go over here and just show you guys. Still on the 100K account challenge account that I'm on. Last week to close out the week, I actually took some wins, but also took some pretty nasty losses as well. That pretty much gave me a big dip in my equity overall. All right, as you guys can see, look at this. Right, we have spike up, we have spike down, but then now I was able to pretty much rebound over the past couple of days. So as of right now, guys, for this account, again, this is phase 2. So after this, I'm really going to be on the live account. For anybody that's wondering, this is just a prop firm. My Forex fund is probably my favorite prop firm out there, which is just a company that allows you to trade live funds if you can qualify to do so. So I'm still on phase number 2. I've only had this account for now. This is my second week actually having it. I started it last week. So we're, again, as you guys can see, we're up $3,000 on this account. So we're up almost 3%. All I got to do is make 5,000 and I'll be able to go ahead and pass and get onto the live account. And then from the live account, you know, I'll also be documenting that and showing you guys that as well. Right. But if you guys really want to see something that's crazy, like it's down here, right? The win rate. Right, as of right now, because I've been having so many break evens and so many short losses, like it's showing my win rate at 38%. This is why I stress to you guys the importance of risk to reward, right? And also the importance of really knowing how to manage your account, right? Because obviously if I didn't go break even, if I didn't, you know, really manage my account correctly, I probably would have ended up blowing this account already, being honest with y'all. But because I'm very good at managing my trades and managing my account correctly, where I'm always very aware of when to go break even, I'm always very aware of when to eliminate risk and things like that. And I'm also very aware of when to just cut my losses short. That's why it's showing that I have a 38% win rate, but obviously we are in profit 3%. And that just also shows you guys the importance of risk to reward over your win rate, right? So many people focus on their win rate where your win rate itself could be skewed by certain things like moving your stops to break even or moving your stops right at entry point, right? Because, you know, especially when you do it like for these prop firms, you going, you know, to break even or you putting your stop loss, you know, right at the entry points, sometimes that's going to be considered as an L, right? So that's going to skew your win rate in itself. That's why you don't want to focus too much on your win rate. Focus on you using proper risk to reward. And when you focus on proper risk to reward, you're still going to be able to really grow your account and scale it up to, you know, amazing heights if you're actually able to do it. But, you know, just an update. I've been really being transparent with you guys, so I want you guys to see this. Again, my actual personal accounts, I keep those to myself. I don't care what anybody says because at the end of the day, the only people that need to know exactly how much I'm personally making on my accounts, my real live accounts, is me and my wife. And not even my wife needs to know that, right? It's just me. But for this, I don't mind showing you guys the prop firms and showing you guys all this stuff because I want you guys to also be aware of it so that you guys can also take advantage of this as well. Right? So this is just the update that we're at, you know, for the prop firms overall. We're still there. You know, I do expect to actually go ahead and make the last 2% this week. And then hopefully next week I can go ahead and get started on the live account. And I'm going to be able to trade that for the next 30 days. And then hopefully I'm able to make, you know, 5-10% in a month off of that. You know, if I can make a nice little 5 or 10%, even 10% on the month, which I definitely expect myself to potentially do while still practicing proper risk management, then yeah, that's going to be a nice little 10K payout for this challenge. If I go even more aggressive, then yeah, making 15%, 20% will be crazy aggressive, but it's possible. Right, so that's just the update with that, guys. Also wanted to be transparent, show you guys that as well. All right, so overall though, for the most part, it's going to be a very interesting week. We do have a lot of news, a ton of news still coming out that we have to be aware of, that we have to really just continue to focus on. The market did see obviously a massive increase in momentum overnight, so please be mindful of that. There could be a period where the market just starts to go ahead and correct a lot of these bigger moves, and if that happens, just be ready to go ahead and take advantage of it. Like something like AUD/USD, guys, like going into tonight, like I'm very much interested in looking at this supply zone right here holding, right? So if price comes up to this supply zone up here at around the 0.6868 level, if we see price up into these levels, then I'm definitely going to continue shorting AU. All right, I'm definitely going to continue shorting it, right? So there's something else I'll be looking at going into tonight to see pretty much how price ends up playing off of these levels, right? Take that entry up there, target back to the lows, even possibly target even lower. And then, yeah, you know, just deal with the consequences at the end of the day. All right, let's see what else we got here. Man, that's real juice. Thank you. You're the realest. This helped a lot, really. And I appreciate you, 20 pip, for real, for real. I found another funding site that's spicy, Brody. I'm gonna send it to you. Yeah, send me that for sure. With that, what would be a proper stop profit, right? So that really is just something that you gotta create. Obviously, a stop profit is gonna be based on the person, but if you want to go ahead and say you're in profit, like, and this is all for just an example, right? Like, say we actually go ahead and we enter this trade here on AUD/USD, and now we're moving in profit. So for one, I do not move my stop loss until I have a logical reason to do so. And what I mean by that is I want to see some type of break of a structure point before I move my stop loss, because when you move your stop loss way too soon, then you end up getting, you have the chance of still getting stopped out right before the trade actually makes its move, because now you're moving it way too soon. So I want to see price come up to here, and then I want to see a break of structure. So if we're able to break back below this level of structure right here, then I'll go ahead and I'll go break even. Okay, I'm completely eliminating the risk off the table. And then when I see another break of structure, right, like say we go ahead and we continue going, then we break this structure right here, or we even break these lows, then we go ahead and think about a stop profit, and now we go ahead and we move our stop loss into profit to secure, maybe 1%, 2%, 3% of our trade, 5%, whatever it is that you decide to do. But then that's when you really want to go ahead and start scaling in and at least start securing profit, right? So there's steps to this, right? There's phases to it. The first thing is to go break even, completely remove the risk off the table. And then the next step is to go to stop profit. So now you're actually securing profits either way. Right, and then obviously every single time we do break structure, that's when I will continue to go ahead and move my stops right above the structure points, so I can continue to secure more profits. And that's only if you're really going to be more of like a swing trader, right, or a long-term day trader, swing trader, where now you're just going to be riding out trends. That's typically what you want to do when you're riding out trends, right? You use a trailing stop loss, a manual trailing stop loss, and that's how you pretty much do it. But that was a great question, though, TJ. Are you doing 1 or 2% risk? So everything that I do is always going to be no more than 2%. There's times where I risk 1%. There's times that I risk 0.5%. But you guys know, especially UG, right? I don't ever do no more than 2%, right? But it really depends on the situation, on what I'm actually going to do, right? Because if I'm already, say, in 2 trades and I'm risking 2% on those 2, then my max risk for the day is always 5%. I would never expose my account more than 5%. So I'm going to have to make that last third trade has to be 1%. Right? Because if I do 2% for that one, now I'm risking 6% overall. And now I have my max exposure at 6%. And that's not following my rules. Right? My rules state that I can't risk no more or have no more exposure than 5%. So that's why, it really depends on the situation that we're currently in. Right, but yeah, overall though, guys, like I said, it's going to be a very, very interesting day, a very, very interesting week. We do have a lot of news coming up, a lot of volume that's probably going to continue to enter the markets. So my favorite setups for tonight are probably going to be this UJ opportunity, right? Maybe something like this for UJ. Really seeing price come up into this area of structure up here, or this area where supply really did pick up. Stops is going to be probably above this high up here. And then see if we can go ahead and target to the lows. It's probably going to be one of my favorite ones going into tonight. And then AUD/USD also has probably an opportunity, right? Where if price does get up into this zone up here around 0.6868, then I'll be looking to go ahead and short that as well. Right, now I know somebody has said something about NAS. Hey, well, first time Lampa, can you go over NAS? Of course, Vivian, I got you. Right, hopefully you're still on the call. Right, but yeah, even for NAS, again, a lot of these indices, guys, I believe we're still going to see some, especially NAS. It ended up rebounding pretty nicely. It started off the day, down, but then we pretty much rebounded pretty nicely. So I would really like to see, guys, these indices come up to this area of supply up here. Right, so especially something like NAS. Right, like I think we could really see price come up to this 12,000 area. Right, and then from this 12,000 area, we'll probably see price pull down. But then up in here is really where I'll be able to go ahead and really make a move to expect more downside, because again, I'm still very much long-term bearish these. We just seen a nice increase of selling pressure, and I think that there is a chance for us to continue that selling pressure, especially up here at these levels right up here. Right, again, very simple supply and demand area. Right, this is an area of supply where we had clearly a lot of supply enter the market. So there is another opportunity for us to expect more supply to re-enter and then go ahead and target these lows and then possibly down to these lows as well. So for NAS outlook, this is what I'll be looking at, something like this, a setup just like this right here, to go ahead and target these lows down here. Overall, not a bad looking setup though. you know, by the time I wake up in the morning, I'll see exactly where this is at. And if we're close to here by New York session, then yeah, if we spike up into there in New York session, then that'll be pretty dope, you know, to go ahead and really just ride this thing out for sure. Let's see, lot size for $500 account. You're gonna need more data than just that, right? $500 account, you're gonna need more data. It depends on your stop loss. Like what else? Like what's the size of your stop loss? One tap, right? Because if you give me a size of your stop loss first, obviously it's gonna be for more of an example stake. I'll give you an actual example of what your lot size should be, right? So for me, just so you guys are aware, I like to use these calculators like this one right here, guys. Position size calculator really helps you identify exactly what your lot size should be, but just giving me an actual account size is not enough, right? There's way more data that needs to be, you know, put into it, right? But for an example like this, just obviously use an example. Let's say we're shorting EURUSD. Let's say we have a 25 pip stop loss. Right, let's say we have a 25 pip stop loss. Calculate position. Right, so for a $500 account with a 25 pip stop loss while only risking 2%, our lot size is a 0.04. Right, 0.04. So we're pretty much doing 4 micro lots, and that's what it will be like, right? But again, depending on the actual stop loss is going to differ, right? If we have a 50 pip stop loss, then it's going to be much smaller, right? We're do a 0.02. If we have a 10 pip stop loss, right, now we're talking about doing a 0.1. Right, if you're just a super sniper in the markets and you have a 5 pip stop loss, now you're able to do 0.2. Right, so it really depends on obviously the size of your stop loss and how much you're actually going to be risking per trade. Right, and I hope that made sense one tap, but that's the real way to actually figure it out. I see there have been times where I enter a stop profit too soon before the big move actually happens, and I need to do that based on percentage instead of 10 to 15 pips. 100% TJ, you got this stuff for sure. Lot size equals 100 lots here, right? It's great. That's what people a lot of people really love to do too, especially a lot of the newer ones. But family, at the end of the day, though, again, it's all about really come on here and just continue to get educated. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for rocking with me tonight. It definitely feels good. Feels good to be back here live with y'all. Like I said, I've been doing it consistently for the past 2-3 months now, where we're live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm gonna continue doing it for sure. Obviously, besides the weeks that we have boot camps, I pretty much take the whole week off just to really focus on the boot camp itself. And yeah, all right. So again, if you want access to the next boot camp, August 15th through the 19th, we will be going live 5 days online, 2 hours minimum each day. Now with what I'm adding to the boot camp, which all the people that were a part of my most recent one, day number 6 is probably gonna make the 5th day probably a 3-hour session. Everything is recorded. You guys will also get the PowerPoint. So if you want access to that, then go ahead and secure your spot for the bootcamp. Don't play, right? Don't take too long, right? At all, because like I said, the price will be going up, right? The price of the bootcamp, guys, will increase. If not by the end of the month, like soon, right? Because again, I really want to make it as affordable as possible for everybody, but I also do have to value my time and the energy and the effort that's being provided as well. Right, but the price will go up guaranteed by the end of this month, possibly even sooner. So if you want access, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the bootcamp. Very simple. Fill out the link in the description down below for all the information. Send me an email to the email that's also in the form, and you'll pretty much go ahead and lock in your spot for the bootcamp as well. And once you lock in that spot, you're good to go. You know, you get access to the recordings if you can't catch it. You'll have the access to recordings forever, and you get access to the PowerPoints that I use as well. So super valuable, guys. Super something I highly recommend all you guys to do. Let's see. I appreciate you, 20 pip. I really do. Thank you for the $10. Definitely means a lot to me, for sure. All right. Yesterday's price ain't today's price. 100%. Right. It never is. Right. So, Antonio, I appreciate you as well for tuning in. Do you still go live on I Am Academy? I do not. Right. I have officially retired from the platform back in February, March. I retired from the educational side of the platform. I retired from the platform completely, actually, but I still got massive love for the academy. They know what they're doing. It's just for me, I wanted to take a different route, and this is the route I wanted to take, where I'm able to pretty much control the show, and I'm able to do and speak and teach on the things that I want to speak on, and not what I'm told that I have to speak on. But yeah, so I'm not anymore, Antonio. But now you guys got me here for free, all right, which I feel like is obviously a lot better. Only thing you guys got to deal with is maybe just a couple ads that pop up, which obviously is done through YouTube themselves. But family, I appreciate y'all. I love you guys. Thank you guys for rocking with me tonight. I will be back on tomorrow, same time, same place, and I look forward to continue breaking this sauce down to every single one of y'all. All right, family. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your night.